There's a lot of stuff that I did that wasn't perfect. A lot of people out there, they don't want to be reminded that they're not perfect. They want to judge you without finding out the situation, but pay no attention to the fact that you were there for their situations they expected you to forget about, things that they should have thought about before kicking you in the teeth. Like, hey, if I do some fucked up shit to this innocent man because I'm being loyal to somebody who's a fucked up game player, what is it that they know about me? What is it that they were there for in my life? What fucked up things did I do to them that they never retaliated for? Now, there's a lot of people who didn't have any retaliation from me because they didn't do anything to me. Like Jackie McKenzie. Her meth use, that's not my fault. It's not my problem. Now, the fact is, it's something that I am aware of. It's something that I was there for. Just like Jamie Curtis's meth problem. Brock Byington's drug problem. Drake Chambers' drug problem. Amanda Ingeline's drug problem. All these people had a meth problem. And all of them got their meth from Alan Bain. So this small town. Let me show you where I'm at. That shop right there. A guy named Butch Owen used to own it. I went to school with his daughter. This shop here, Drake Chambers' dad used to, I don't know if he owned it or if he rented it. That right there, that's the backside of, used to be the movie theater. And then it was Big A Auto Parts. The Jepson family owned that. That right there, that's my mom's old house. Check it out. Beautiful, ain't it? You could probably buy that house for a couple $1,000s in back taxes. Complete with all the shit that's in it. And all the stuff that's outside here. Ah, there's a wheelbarrow. I fixed that wheelbarrow a lot of years ago. I got it out of a trash pile over at the Jepsons. Here's my mom's house from the side. That room right there in the top, that used to be my room. This right here, this is where the dog run used to be. There was a dog that belonged to my stepdad named Tyflo. Stands for tear your fucking leg off. Imagine that. Now my stepdad, he only ever got physically violent with me once. It was right after my mom went and had sex with a child molester named Doug Cowden, who had stolen a bunch of my money because he had cocaine. That's what he spent my money on. Cocaine and marijuana. Now I went into the house to get some of my belongings. I had permission from Mom. Scott just wanted to be an asshole. As I was walking up the stairs, he started punching me in the back of the head. Well, fuck that dude. So I turned around, I walked through the kitchen, and oh, nice, somebody's driving a Tesla. Anyway, I walked through the kitchen, or through the living room and the dining room. Scott was punching me in the back of the head the whole way. I'm only 17 at this point, and he's still punching me in the back of my head. And finally I make it to the kitchen. He's still punching me in the back of the head. He decides to push me off into a little side room. Well, that was the pantry. I was a lot smaller. Alright, maybe not. Maybe about 15 or 20 pounds lighter than I am now. But I had a good back. I picked him up over my head. He said to let him go. So I did. He landed wrong and screwed up his knee, and well, that was the full extent of me getting physical back. See, I always hated physical violence. When I talk about violence, I'm not talking about screaming or shouting. I'm talking about actual physical violence. Making an excuse to put your hands on another human being. Now there's situations where I believe that it's acceptable. If someone's trying to rape you, by all means. If someone is attacking you, by all means. If they're putting drugs into your body without your consent, by all means, defend yourself. But at that point, it's not physical violence, it is self-defense. It's funny, they don't have self-defense here in Nebraska. If you're in a fight, you're both to blame. They charge you with assault by mutual combat. There was a guy named Zach Metcalf. In high school, he was quite a jerk. And we got into a fight because he got physical first. Don't put your nasty cock beaters on me. That's the wrong thing to do. But he decided that putting his hands on me was okay. He did not get into trouble for that, and I did. It was pretty screwed up. However, the way that the school chose to deal with it was really dependent upon the law, and the law wasn't going to let it go. Zach Metcalf was trying to get into the military at the time, and he actually was able to get into the military. He was allowed to join the United States Marine Corps. I'm glad for that. He turned into a much better person. But he didn't turn into a much better person from going to the Marine Corps. He was a much better person immediately after that fight. See, that was the first fight he had ever been in. And he could tell I was being nice to him. I grew up getting my ass kicked for the color of my skin. That's why I stick up for minorities. There are racist people of every color, every gender, every religion. But there is racism. Would it be right for me to blame all black people for the black people who beat me up? Would it be okay for me to blame all Asians for the Asians that beat me up? Well, when it comes down to it, these were people that beat me up. People who made decisions. It wasn't all of the people in the category that I choose to shove them into that did that. Let me give you an example. Let's say I got beaten up by a black man who is homosexual. If he beats me up, is it okay for me to blame all black people? Fucking course not. Is it okay for me to blame all men? Of fucking course not. Is it okay for me to beat up all gay people and blame them? Of fucking course it's not. I live in a different world than you for a reason. I don't have family that gives a shit. There are a lot of people who should have come forward, and because they didn't care, because they didn't make the time that they promised that they would, it fucked me severely. You want to say, Sean, you chose this. Really? I don't choose other people's hatreds. I don't choose other people's bias. I don't choose other people's families, other people's lies. I don't choose other people's decisions for them. All of the people who assaulted me made a decision to do so. All of the people who lied and slandered made a decision to do so. Now it's when their lies and slander affected my life that we had an issue. There are a lot of women who said a lot of really mean things about men in order to get my help, and they didn't need to. There was no need for them to do such a thing. If that man really did those things, then you need to take it to court. You need to take it to the police, and you've got me on your side. However, if you lied about that man, it doesn't matter if I helped you or not. You lied to me. And you don't get to play victim after lying to me like that. When it comes to forgiving people, I forgive people pretty easily. But if they keep doing the same thing that they've been doing, then they don't repent. They don't feel bad for what they've done. There are very few situations like mine where it's so desperate and dire that, yeah, I have to break the law. Have to break the law. And that sucks. It sucks that a person has to be afraid to go speak to the police when something fucked up is happening. But then again, that comes down to American society teaching sexism, teaching that men are always the perpetrators and women are always the victims. Meanwhile, all of the shit that I've endured in the last 3 years came from bad cops and Alicia Bollinger. At any point in time, Alicia Bollinger could come forward and tell the truth. Will she? Fuck no, she has no goddamn conscience. Neither does Jamie. What do they have in common? Their looks. I've known a lot of physically attractive women in my life. And I've known a lot of women that, well, my dad would describe them as cattle. My dad is very much just that kind of a person. He will automatically take the side of someone who is pretty and automatically be against somebody who is not pretty. I learned that very